Hey. So guys, currently I'm here at Home Depot, and today I'm building this, I'm turning a pool pond into a nice looking pond. So basically first thing I'm gonna need is some waterfall foam. So you can get it at pretty much any hardware store. This is what it looks like. It's this waterfall foam sealant. I've seen it also at Ace Hardware, so we're gonna pick up 3 of these for this DIY pond build.
So thank you.
Carly, come on, let's go. All right guys, so we are back home, and now let me show you what the design is for today. So if you guys don't know, there's a thing called pool ponds, which is kind of like this, these little 20-gallon kiddie pools that you find at Walmart, other hardware stores, things like that. And then there's also big ones that you see people swimming in like this. And a lot of Florida people, a lot of Florida guys, Florida men, just people in general keep these sometimes in their garage or in their backyard, and they use it for keeping fish. Now this pond is something a lot of people probably want to use, but either their parents won't let them, or it just doesn't look good to have underground with all this blue. It doesn't look natural. So today what we're gonna be doing is using waterfall foam, and yes, this is fish safe. Sorry if my little turtle bin's a little loud. I fixed it up and it's looking pretty good. And just some rocks, some small pebbles, or some larger ones. You can do this either way you want. You can make it a little more custom. Again, all the products I use in this video will be linked down in the description below. But I'm going to be making this pool pond look like an actual pond. So let's go. Carly, you want to help? Come here. Can you bring this over? Can you grab that? Thank you. Come on. Come on. Come on, Carly. Let's go. Come on. Come here, pup. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Can you get it? Come on. Let's go, girl. Can you put it in? Okay, drop it. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. So Visionaries, just letting you know that whenever you use waterfall foam, it actually expands a lot more than what you put down. So always be careful or wait a few seconds for it to expand before you put anything over this. So let me sort of tell you how we are going to exactly turn this into like a pond. So a lot of people use this stuff for filling little creases in their pond. So if you have a pond and you have an area that's just open, you have exposed liner, it just doesn't look good. You spray some foam into it, shove some rocks or some sand in, and basically it just looks like a rock wall. So that's kind of what we're gonna be doing with this. We're gonna be spraying this foam all across this little pool pond, and then I'm gonna end up putting sand on the bottom so it looks nice and natural. And on the sides, that's what's gonna be hard, because we're gonna have to stick rocks to the sides of this pond, and that's what we're gonna have to do first. So I'm gonna lead you step by step on how to do this, so stay tuned. So guys, first off, you can see I'm starting to dig a little trench around the pool pond, and I just make it a little outline, and I pretty much just continue digging, and eventually I get it to where the ground gets too hard, so I just have to soak it. After I leave that for maybe an hour, I come back and finish digging the rest of the pond. One important part is just making sure that it's always level, and I moved a tarp just to make sure I had a place to put the dirt. Continue digging, and we'll get back to the video. Alright Visionaries, so after digging for a long time, letting it soak, the pool is finally inside. So now I can actually use the spray, and I'm going to do the sides first because I'm going to have to fill the sides up. So I'm going to tip it on its side and then rotate it, and then eventually fill it up with rocks. So you'll see, and I'll teach you how to do it. So guys, I got a little bag of rocks. These are they're smaller pebbles, but you'll probably want to even use rocks smaller than this, but this is all I have for now. So you're going to want to flip it on its side like this so that you can work portion by portion. I'm going to start off by doing this section, flip it, do here, flip it, do it again until the whole thing's covered. So guys, remember, whenever you're spraying this in, it expands a lot. So spray it in, wait a second, maybe even a couple minutes for it to harden a little, so then your rocks don't really sink down a lot. But I'll be telling you how to fix it when your foam rises up above the rocks that you put down. So make sure you got your little foam tube on. I'm just gonna test it out. It's pretty much ready, and so this stuff is actually gonna harden within just about an hour, and it'll get a lot more firm in about 5 minutes after you do it. So this is just about ready, and remember, this pretty much doesn't get off of any clothes or anything, even your hands. So I would advise you wear gloves, but just for this I'm not going to. So you're gonna want to take your end. This one has little fins just like this, so I'm gonna do section by section, and you're basically just gonna want to spray it, wait a little bit, pour your rocks on, so it creates a rock wall all around here. So I don't know if you can see, but here's the first section. I don't want it to like fall off or anything, so I'm gonna wait a little bit. Here is pretty much what it looks like after just doing it. So I let it go when it was really wet, so they're really sinking in right now. So eventually, once this hardens, you will actually be able to cut this back, but one easy way to fix it is actually just take some sand and just sort of sprinkle it on. So when this all hardens, it's just gonna look like a sand and rock wall. So that's what I'm gonna do. And hopefully this works out good, and I'm gonna do this all the way around. Hey guys, so it's about almost 6 o'clock in the morning. I got up nice and early because last night I finished foaming all around. I'm gonna say it didn't turn out the best. So this is it right here, guys. So fortunately, I got some of this covered in all sand. But if you zoom in, I mean, because again, I said it expands. So all of this is pretty solid right here. And I was able to flip it all the way around without anything like falling really. And yeah, it kind of looks like rock. So I'm assuming underwater, hopefully these bulges look like, you know, little stones. So I'm gonna put it back in the hole. I'm gonna cover the bottom so we get substrate there. It'll probably be pebbles, and we'll move on from there.
2,000 years later.
So guys, I finished putting pebbles in. So as you can see, I could have probably done an easier job. And almost, because I actually never wore gloves. So this is what you get when you don't put gloves on when you do this, if you touch it. So I'm hoping at these underwater just kind of look like little stones, and that's why I kind of covered it up with sand. And then with the substrate, you can use almost any kind of substrate. You can use sand. Now when you pour water in here, it's best to sort of put it in a calmer area where it can drip down, because if you just fill it up like all over, it's gonna get real murky because of all the dirt that's around here. So we're gonna start filling it up, and then we're gonna go on from there. Fortunately, the hose is right here. So what I mean is you don't want to be like spraying it all like this, because it's gonna get real murky. So best area is somewhere where it can drip off. So, or just right here. It'll go in the bottom. It'll make it, you know, you won't be spraying it everywhere, and the water will just rise up without getting the water super dirty. And this is what I mean. As you can see, we have water coming out right here, but it's not splashing everywhere. So the water that's coming out is pretty clear. So just wait for it to fill up, and I'll give you the next step. And by the way, it's pretty much over. You can start cleaning up after yourself, because after we add plants, if you want to add plants, you can do that or not. You can add plants, and I'm probably gonna add a DIY filter to this. So one very part about owning a pond is having a skimmer net. So basically, there was a lot of dirt and stuff that went to the top of this pond. So basically, I can use this skimmer net and just scoop all the way up in here, grab it all out, and take it out. So now there is no more stuff, and this will be linked down in the description. It might not look the best, mainly because it's not level. So I just did this pretty quick just to show you guys. As you can tell, these sides are low, these sides are high. One of the most important parts is making sure it's all level. I just was in a little bit of a time rush to get this done. But as you can see, some of these supply grip. So if you guys wanted to use this for a small koi, some goldfish, you could also end up using this for turtles, because stuff like this, they can sort of grasp onto. So you can use this like as a little ramp for them. Also, one thing is you can put rocks in it, such as this, so that if you have turtles, you can add a nice little basking rock. They can use this to come onto shore. Also, your ledges should not be steep enough for them not to get out, so they should be able to still get out if you have turtles. But if not, you can add some bigger rocks and make it a nice little slope up here. Normally for plants, I would add something like water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is a nice floating plant on top that provides a lot of shade and eats up bad nutrients, some bad nutrients in the water. Not as good as some other plants, but they're still great plants. So that's that. Whoa. Now I'm gonna see if I can get a DIY filter for this. So I'm gonna borrow one of my filters from over here by my turtle area, and it is actually the solar powered pump. And it does come with a solar panel. I will have this filter linked down below. So the one that I have does actually come with a cable in case it's like nighttime or something and it doesn't go, and it doesn't, you know, like actually go because of the solar. And you can plug it in and it'll run full speed, which is great for this 20-gallon size pond. And with the solar panel, unless you get full heat all the time, it's pretty good for this 20-gallon, but when it's plugged in, it's definitely running pretty hard. I'm not gonna fully make a filter for this, but I'm just gonna put this on the bottom, somewhere around one side of this, because the middle is nice, but one side is okay. Sun's just about to come up because it is really early. The sun's back there. So I'm gonna put this like facing over there. So this is the case where I would plug it in. It has this little cord right here. It is currently inside the pond, and I do have an extension cable right over here for the second pump I have for my big pond. It's not working yet, so let me check the outlet. And that's the extension cable. Okay. So when this is all plugged in, you can see the good amount of water movement it makes. You can see it pushing everything to this side. And so if I put it a little higher, you can see for this little solar pump, it does actually create quite a bit of water volume coming out through it. So if you put this with a small pump leading to a filter, a small filter that I'll pop up a card right up here. It'll show you how to make a small pond filter. You could connect it with this, get a little hose. But currently with this, I am just gonna leave this small pump in here. It creates enough water flow for fish, for turtles. If you have fish and turtles, of course, since this is not a filter, you will have to do more water changes because this does not suck up and put poop, and it doesn't filter the poop, you know, through the filter pads and biological media. But it does make enough movement for this to be a good pond. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please drop a comment if you really liked this way of making a nice little pond into more of a desirable looking pond. And if you guys want to know, because like, hey, there's still blue around the edges. If you dig this down a little bit deeper, what you can do is called backfilling. So use some spare dirt, fill in your cracks, but at the same time, you can kind of gently put it over your edge. Or put it down a little lower, put pebbles around the edges, or buy some flat stones and put them around the edges so you can't see it anymore. Those are some great ways of hiding edges. So there's the pond. I hope you all have an amazing day. Bible verse of the day is popping up right now. I hope you all have an amazing day. I love to share my faith with you guys, and this is an easy way where I can do it. My name is David. This is Fishvisions. Find your vision and follow it. Be a visionary today and subscribe. And I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace.